The cost of living in America is making people give up in 2025. People literally cannot afford to live. They're barely scraping by, either living paycheck to paycheck. They're being supported by somebody that's a friend or family. Maybe they're living with somebody splitting the rent, living back at home, or they're in debt.
Hey TikTok, I'm just on here wondering if anybody's feeling the same way I'm feeling. I'm from Illinois, and I feel like the gas prices and the electric bills and the prices of food is just so overwhelming anymore. Like, I'm wondering if anybody else is feeling like they're drowning and they can't get out. I work overtime, and I cannot get above water. I mean, I literally have no gas for next week. It was either that or get a few groceries to get by. I hit my local food pantries. I'm just wondering if anybody else feels like they're drowning. But anyway, I hope everybody has a great day.
Can somebody explain to me in crayon eating terms why I make over 3 times the federal minimum wage and I cannot afford to live?
Explain it.
I do not want to hear the pull yourself up from your bootstraps, work 90 hours a week. That's not the goal, guys.
No, it's not the goal.
That
It should not
be our standard.
Agreed. Should not be our standard.
I'm so fucking tired of people being complacent with this uniparty, both of them fucking us over. When my parents were my age, they both made less than half of what I make, and they lived alone. I cannot afford to live anywhere alone. A 1-bedroom apartment, $1,800. 2-bedroom apartment.
This generation is locked out of living on their own.
Who the fuck can afford that? It is embarrassing to come out and say that it is a struggle to survive right now. But
I'm sorry, dude. I feel for you.
Many people are struggling. And do not get me started on what my grandparents were doing. They $3,000 house. And yes, I understand inflation and all of the bullshit that they have been pulling with the Fed. Why are we allowing it?
Why are we allowing it?
And then I clock out of my shift. I am tired.
Big one coming up here.
I have to go home. And I check the news. Another 60 fucking billion to a country nobody can find out on a map. What are we doing? Where has the plot gone? We have lost it, folks. We have fucking lost it. The American dream is dead. It is
That's sad.
Gone.
That is sad.
Forgotten.
So I'm moving out of San Diego in about a week, less than a week actually. It's Monday and I'm moving on Saturday. And it feels so weird to actually like say it out loud and make a video about it, because when I made the decision literally a month ago that I was moving, I literally didn't know if I was going to stay in San Diego, if I was going to move out of state. I had kind of floated around the idea of moving to Salt Lake City because my cousin, she's like my best friend, she lives there. Obviously real estate is getting really expensive there, but overall the cost of living is much lower than San Diego. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that thought, but I am moving out and it feels weird. I love San Diego more than anything, but if you've ever seen San Diego content that doesn't just highlight like the coffee shops to go to and like all the kind of touristy stuff, like videos about the experiences of living here, it is just getting so expensive that if you don't make like an incredibly large salary, like you're getting priced out. I don't know if it actually happened, but there was talks about taking away like free parking at Balboa and Kate Sessions, and all of those little things make living here amazing. Is that you can go to Kate Sessions and you have free parking. You can go to Balboa and you have free parking, and all of these amazing things for tourists and, you know, people that live here to enjoy. And it kind of makes everything else that's expensive like feel a little bit more worth it. And yes, before I moved to San Diego, I guess you could say I'm part of the problem. I moved here. Okay, people aren't going to stop moving places. So I don't like that argument when people are like, we're your fault, don't move here. People are going to keep moving here, okay? I knew when I moved here that it was an expensive place, and I've been able to make it work. I have a decent paycheck. I'm able to pay my rent, able to pay my bills. I just don't have a lot left over. And I'm at a point where I'd like to have a little bit left over. I don't really buy new clothes. I just buy like, you know, some yummy food here and there. I don't really go out. I don't really drink. So I'm not spending my money on those things. But I'm at a point where I would just like to have a little bit left over, a little bit more left over. And every year that I lived here, I'm at about 4 years, rent has just increased more and more, and it's not stopping, right? Like it used to be that you could get like a 1 bed, 1 bath for maybe like 2K, and now I feel like you can barely get a studio for that. And it's not like when I lived in Arlington, Virginia, where I paid $1,300 for a nearly 600 square foot studio. That was like an L shape. You could have like your bedroom in the little small part, and it kind of felt like you could like do a makeshift like bedroom. These studios that you're finding, more so coastal, you know, San Diego, but more a little inland, like North Park and whatever, you can barely get like I think it's like a 250 square foot studio apartment, maybe for 2K, if not 2,100, 2,200. You're lucky if you get in washer, laundry. That's not even a given. You're sure shit not getting air conditioning. And I just had to like, you know, look in the mirror and just decide, do I want to have to sacrifice not having a few of these amenities that I don't even think is asking a lot? And in San Diego, it's considered a luxury, wanting in-unit washer and dryer, central AC, or even I'll settle for a window unit. It doesn't even have to be central AC. Having your own covered parking or just your own parking spot. I'm trying to think what else. Just like basic ass amenities that are considered a luxury here, I think are just standard requirements. And I don't even need the doorman, the security, the key fob to enter. Like, I don't need the dog wash station, the luxury amenities. I'm talking buildings built in the 80s, could use a couple, you know, updates. Very, very basic living. So I just got to a point where I was like, I don't think what I want at this point in my life is asking too much. And it used to be, okay, well, you live in coastal San Diego, move inland. Even looking inland, just North Park, Hillcrest, trying to think like just other neighborhoods, just a little bit inland. Even those places are just as expensive. So now it's like, do I need to move to El Cajon or Poway? Like, I'm not shitting on those places. They're fine places to live. To me, I moved to San Diego to live near the coast. And it's just, anywhere you look now, it just feels increasingly unattainable. And I truly feel like slowly but surely, San Diego is becoming a place where it's just going to be like for the ultra wealthy. And if you can't afford it, like, sorry. And that's where it's like, I don't like the argument of like, oh, if you can't afford it, then just leave. Like, first of all, I just feel like it's not personal, but it's also like, what is wrong with people? Oh, if you can't afford it, just leave. Like, okay, like, good for you that you can afford it and I can't. Like, I don't know. Because I did kind of wrestle with the fact of like, am I just not doing enough? Like, should I have tried to get that higher pay? Like, should I have tried to get that higher paying job? Like, should I have gotten another side hustle or multiple side hustles? Like, that's the requirement now, is you either need to make a shit ton of money or you need to be doing multiple side hustles. Not because you just want extra money, but just so you can, like, you know, breathe a little bit more. But yeah, I don't like the argument or the thought of, well, if you can't afford it, then just leave. That just feels like such like an elitist mentality of like, oh, well, I can do it, but you can't. Bummer. Like, ew. And it's just a real bummer because I love San Diego so much. Like, this is the first place I've lived in my 20s. I'm 30 now, but in my 20s where it truly felt like home. And I had to work through the shame of feeling like I didn't do enough to try to stay here, and realizing that the salary I make is a pretty decent salary and I don't have a ton of stuff that I spend my money on, and it still is just a struggle. So I'm leaving San Diego, and if you can afford to live here, amazing, but at some point you just got to be real with yourself and more of like the long term if you can afford it. So I'm moving to Salt Lake City.
Yeah, y'all, inflation has not kept up with our wages, and it's even worse for the newer generations. And I'm glad when older generations acknowledge this, because they at least acknowledge what has happened and don't just say to the younger generations, you just got to work 80 hours a week. You just got to lift up your bootstraps and just got to work more. You're lazy. But we are literally the working poor. and it's still affecting older generations who they can't retire because they're older. And ironically, a lot of the boomers are still working in old age. Maybe not because they want to. Maybe some of them do want to work, but some of them are just their retirement, their pension, inflation is eating away at what they know they're going to have left remaining, and it's not going to be enough. And so I think we just all need to acknowledge as a species that something is wrong in America. Something is direly wrong, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. Inflation is eating away at our purchasing power. The gap between poor and wealthy is only just widening. Middle class is being deleted. We all can sense this. We all can feel it. It literally feels like a weight on me at times. And I'm 34, making 34,000 take home a year, but just about. It's funny, like $1,000 per year I'm owed. And let's just say I turn 35, I'm making $35,000 a year. It's still going to be the same purchasing power, if not less, than I have now, because the wages are not keeping up with inflation. The 34,000 take home pay I take home now is like the same purchasing power of $25,000 pre-COVID. That's how bad it's getting. Groceries are crazy. Let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking, like how this is affecting your life. Maybe you make more than me and you still can feel it, because it doesn't matter how much money you make if you're not rich. You could still be living paycheck to paycheck, making double what I make, 60K, 70K, 80K, 90K, 100K, 120K, 200K. You can still be living paycheck to paycheck, even making $200,000 a year. And if you told yourself that probably 10 years ago, you'd be like, you're out of your mind. If I make 200K a year, I'm rich. Well, you would think that 10 years ago. But look at what's happened post-COVID. Essentially, the dollar purchasing power has decreased by a half. That's what it seems like over like a 6-year time span. The purchasing power of the dollar has decreased. It's only worth half as much as it used to be. That's what it seems like. And it's absolutely insane to think about it. And I'm like, is it ever going to get better? It's just going to keep getting worse. Like, can this even reverse? Can this process even reverse? I don't know, but we're all struggling just to live. We can't afford to live, millions of Americans. And that's one reason why I'm making these videos on YouTube, because I'm trying to create a new stream of income. And if I'm passionate about this stuff, I'm passionate about like venting and learning how other people are coping with this stuff, and seeing that, hey, it's not just me, it's everybody. It's not just you. It's a lot of people struggling. It needs to be complained about. Like, we need to like voice our frustrations, because I think that's only healthy. If we don't, I think we'd probably go insane. So let me know what you think in the comments below.